Sports Section Morning Show.
You are listening to TFTV Sports.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Section Morning Show, episode 8, I think. Episode 8, man. Fine Friday, July 14th. As of recording, well, live streaming, we're doing both. Deandre Hopkins ain't signed yet, but the sports books are saying we're most likely to sign him. I'm going to jump right into that. So on Wednesday, I get a text. Get a text from a good buddy of mine. Phone starts blowing up. About 2 or 3 buddies text me. All send me an attachment. First one, I don't have the names on my phone. So when I see the attachments pop up, it's just like attachment. I'm thinking, oh, hell, I got excited. I thought my girl had texted me or something. I opened it up and see their names. I was like, God damn. But I saw the second best thing when I opened the pictures. They changed the odds. Sports books started one of the smaller sports books, but then everybody started to follow suit. Deandre Hopkins went from, he was in the night before, he was around plus 500 to sign for the Titans, and the Patriots was the favorites. That is completely turned on his head, and DeAndre Hopkins is now favored to go to the Tennessee Titans. Let's get a round of applause for that. Round of applause. It ain't done yet, but we're getting close, I think. Training camp's right around the corner. TFTV will try and be there, of course, give you all some content there. But those odds have turned on their head. DeAndre Hopkins is now favored to go to the Tennessee Titans at around negative 150, I want to say. Negative 150, and then the Patriots are at like plus 200, and then the Chiefs are at plus 400. So a good development on the DeAndre Hopkins front. And it just brings up the conversation again of where this team is at if DeAndre Hopkins becomes a Titan. You know, we have questions at the offensive line position. I think I've seen a poll come out. These polls are bullshit in the offseason too, by the way. Ain't nobody seen nobody with no pads on. This is just going off of air work and names on the sheet. We both know that's not how football fucking works. You get to, especially a team like the Titans, nitty gritty, physical. You know, that's going to show up on Sunday. That don't show up on polls in July and June. That shows up for the Chiefs and the Bengals and, you know, the darling teams of the year. Your Chargers, they look good in June and July. They always look good in June and July. But the Titans look good in December and November more times than not. That's why I'd rather look good is November, December, and January compared to looking good in a goddamn poll in June or July. Fuck that. But it brings the question with DeAndre Hopkins. Admittedly, we got holes at the offensive line and questionably the quarterback position, but that offensive line has improved from last year. And the offensive line last year was atrocious, but we still half-ass. I ain't gonna say half-ass move the ball. I can't even tell that lie. This offensive line's improved, so that's that. It's improved at left tackle. You don't have Dennis Daly there. I'm about done talking about Dennis Daly. I need Dillard to come in and do his thing so I can stop talking about Dennis Daly. But I'm so traumatized by that left tackle play that we seen all last year. It's some of the worst left tackle play I've seen. I've seen junior pro left tackles block better than Dennis Daly. I'll be honest. The offensive line's gotten a little better. The receiving core is weak at the moment, but with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, that's a serviceable group. With DeAndre Hopkins spearheading that receiver room. He's going to get the lion's share of the targets. He's going to command some attention from the defense. Of course, Henry's going to command a lot of attention, but DeAndre Hopkins will be one to keep him honest. And with the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, that allows Chig and Burks to really shine as complementary pieces instead of forcing them to feel like they have to be the man. And that just leads to mistakes, especially with young players. Leave that responsibility to DeAndre Hopkins. Let Burks, let Chig go out there and play free and be the best they can be as young talents. That's the best way to get the best out of this offense, in my opinion. The defense is going to be the defense. I'm a little worried about the subtraction of Jim Schwartz. He was assistant defensive coordinator or something of that nature. He was really involved last year. He was a former defensive coordinator way back in the day under Jeff Fisher. Really talented guy. But he's left, and he's now the defensive coordinator of the Browns. And I think Jim Schwartz had quite a bit to do with us being able to get a lot of pressure with our four-man fronts. Because a staple of Jim Schwartz's is that wide nine, a lot of stunts, a lot of inverted rushes and whatnot. That's a staple of Jim Schwartz. Pulling Jim Schwartz's philosophy. And it shows up on every team he's on. It showed up on the Eagles when he was with the Eagles. It showed up with us when he was with us this past year. And we'll see it in Cleveland in week 4, I think, or week 3. It's going to be an ugly sight. I ain't going to lie to you. But with the subtraction of Jim Schwartz, we also have Harold Landry coming back into the fold. And Harold Landry is extremely important to this defense. You know, he allows Bowen and Vrabel to really be creative with their blitz packages or just bringing a rush, period, because Landry allows them to, you know, maybe line up with a nickel outside of him or line up with a nickel back opposite of him. And Landry can drop back into one of the hook curl or the flat zones. You know, we didn't really have a DN last year or outside backer that could do that. I saw Bud dropping back in coverage and almost had a heart attack. You know, it's just it don't look fluid. That's not his game. Landry is able to do that, and he's able to rush the passer to a really good effect. Then the inside backer core, I mean, there's a lot of promise there. The way our inside backers, we just need them flying to the ball and making plays. It's really simple for them. And the DBs, we got a year of growth there. I think it'll be great. Defense is going to be excellent in my opinion. It's just whether or not DeAndre Hopkins brings enough offensively to the team to where we can score, maybe 20-some points. All we need is 20. If we score 20 to 24 points, we should win 9 out of 10 games. If we do that 10 times, we should win the game 8 out of 10 times at least, unless we're facing a damn powerhouse like the Chiefs or something. But even then, we have held them. I mean, Mahomes, and this came up in the quarterback doc. If y'all ain't watched that, by the way, we're going to get to that later on in the show. Mahomes was very high of Vrabel and the Belichick influence that Vrabel has on that defense. So even if we're facing a powerhouse like the Chiefs or the Bills, Vrabel has had quite a bit of success against the Chiefs, believe it or not, especially in the regular season. The playoffs are a different breed. But in the regular season, Vrabel has beat them 2 out of 3 times. And then the third time he beat them, they only dropped like 24 on us. And that's when we had Malik Willis at quarterback. So a young, inexperienced Malik Willis at quarterback. So I'm really optimistic, especially if we get Hopkins about the season, man. It's going to be, that brings us into the fold. So y'all let me know, YouTube, Twitch, comments. Y'all let me know where do y'all think the Titans will end up if we get DeAndre Hopkins? I know I asked the question last week, but that was a little tongue in cheek. We got some actual validness to the shit this week. Favorite to go to the Tennessee Titans. All right. Let's stay in the AFC South. We're going to talk about the Colts. I know we hate talking about them, sorry motherfuckers, but I got a Colts fan that's calling in about the comments from Jim Irsay. And I'll explain this before I call him in right now. So Jim Irsay says, he's talking to the Pat McAfee show, I want to say. This was early last week, I want to say, midweek. He said, it's going to be tough for Anthony Richardson as a rookie, but he has to play. For Anthony Richardson, this is direct quote. For Anthony Richardson, it's going to be tough. We know that, but he has to play to get better. I mean, there's no question. Gardner Minshew could come out and obviously play better early on, just being a veteran, but we have to get Anthony on the field, and that's Shane's call. Shane's the new head coach of the Colts. Shane's call when we decide to do it. So I will be calling a Colts fan right now to see what he thinks about those quotes and what he thinks about Anthony Richardson and what his expectations are for the season. Y'all bear with me 1 second. Rob, what are you telling me, man?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
So I'm glad you brought up that quote because I'll be honest, I'm pretty scared about what he said about that.
What makes you scared about it? You don't think Richardson's ready? I mean, he started plenty of games in college. He started 8 or 13 games in college. You don't think he's ready?
No, I don't think he's ready at all. I know they have that stat about his receivers dropping so many balls, but when I just look at just his game logs, and really the only game I watched, truthfully, was him against Kentucky, but that about scared me off
Oh man, that was terrible
well
too. We
enough.
don't even need to talk about that game because we got Levis. So we don't even need to talk
Yeah,
about that game. That game never
it was,
happened.
it was bad on both ends, but I'll go ahead and just read the completions and attempts real quick for his 2022 game log. So his last game against Florida State, he was 9 for 27. Vanderbilt, he was 25 for 42, which isn't that bad, but it's Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's Vanderbilt.
South Carolina, 11 for 23. Then this isn't bad. Texas A&M, he was 17 for 28.
I
But
think if you take those games and you factor in the drop, so his completion percentage was around 55 or 58%. He was closer. Him and Levis were really similar in that aspect. But if you take the terrible drops that they had, his completion percentage was, something decent, something to write home about.
yeah, I guess one thing that worries me too, what is Josh Allen's QB coach? Uh,
I don't know his QB
Greg
coach, but let me
Greg
see.
Panilli.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I listened to an interview that I think it's Locked On Colts had with him,
Mhm.
and he was basically saying that his mechanics are fixable, just mainly just with his feet work.
Yeah.
And I guess since he really doesn't use his lower half a lot, which to me is insane with how strong his arm is.
Exactly.
But since he doesn't use his feet well, they're going to have to redo that basically with him in the pocket.
That's
That
kind of hard to fix in the midst of a NFL season when you're trying to learn the playbook in conjunction with learning defenses in the NFL, because you don't really. It's not the AFC South of the old. We got some defensive minds in the AFC South now, and D'Amico Ryans down in Houston, Vrabel in Tennessee. So that's got to be worrying too.
Yeah, exactly. That ties it up well. I don't think he'll be ready to go to start, and it doesn't sound like he'll start right away from whatever Irsay had said.
Coach
Um,
Irsay wanted them starting soon, didn't he?
yeah, but it sounds like they want Minshew to start right away, and
Mm-hmm.
then at least hand the keys to AR eventually after that. But the upside is great with
Oh yeah, of
AR,
course, of course.
but um, I don't think this is a situation where um, he's going to learn right away, like Manning and Luck did. Which Manning's first year with Colts was god awful, and
Yeah,
I
it was
know you guys
horrendous.
know that. But you know, he turned out to be a Hall of Famer, and he's mentally tough to be able to handle that.
Are you
And
predicting that for Richardson?
predicting what?
Turned out to be a Hall of Famer. He's mentally tough.
Oh God, I wish. Hey, hey, we are successful with QBs. I
Oh yeah,
will say that.
y'all do have that in y'all's bag. Give me
I,
a what do y'all think? When do you think, if you were to give a prediction just off the top of your head? First off, when's y'all's bye week? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Let me see. Because I was about to say, when do you think that Anthony Richardson would be in there starting this year? If you were to predict it, like I think me with the Titans, I think we'd have a change by Halloween. That's what I'm saying.
Halloween.
Yeah, we got a bye week right before that, I think, and then we play Atlanta at home, and we got an easy stretch after that. Y'all's bye week is week 11.
Yeah. Uh, I could say early on, like week 5 or week 6, because we play the Jags, Texans, Ravens, Rams, and then Titans again,
Yeah, so y'all will get y'all's
and
ass whooped
Jags
week
again.
5, and then he'll probably make a change going into the Jacksonville game. But that Jacksonville game might be tough. But here's the thing: so y'all play Jacksonville, Houston, Baltimore, the Rams, us, Jacksonville again, and then Cleveland. So that first 7 weeks that ain't gravy. Y'all play all y'all's division games early. That's weird.
That is weird.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah, that is. And, honestly, I could see Houston not being like a great team to start off with, but just being a sneaky team too.
Oh, yeah.
So I really don't see that as like a win at all. Definitely with Colts.
Shit, they were sneaky last year, and we find a way to split with them even when they're bad every year.
That's true. I thought their defense was pretty good last year.
And that's without Ryans. That was with Lovie Smith and D'Amico Ryans. I think he's going to have that defense right.
But just to put a bow on the AR comments, so I don't know. It sounds like a long-term fix, or maybe not long-term, but maybe more than a year's fix. And Irsay being Irsay, he likes to have control, and he's part of the reason why we got rid of Carson Wentz right away.
Right.
Which may not have been the worst idea, but
no, I think that was the best thing for y'all was to get rid of him, to be honest.
But then we brought in Matt Ryan, who had 20 turnovers in 7 games. So
I think that was a panic. That was a panic trade, in my opinion. That was just he was the best thing on the market at the time, and it's sort of like us trading for Julio. There's a little bit of glimmer of hope there. You'd think he'd come in and be above serviceable, but he ain't even serviceable.
Yeah, no, he definitely wasn't that.
Yeah,
but. So let me flip this on you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you rather face at QB against the Colts whenever you guys play? Gardner Minshew or Anthony Richardson?
I'd rather face Richardson. It depends what time of the year. We've always had trouble with Minshew. Even when he was at Jacksonville. I don't know what the hell he has on us, but he's just a playmaker. He's mobile. We have a problem with, mobile quarterbacks that aren't overly mobile, but sneaky mobile like Mahomes and your Minshews and whatnot. But we play y'all. Let me see when we play y'all. We play y'all early, and then I think we play y'all late. We play y'all week 13 and week 5. So if it's week 5, I'd rather face Richardson, if that makes sense, because he's going to be a little wet behind the ears, and I think Vrabel will put him through hell with all the disguises that we have defensively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd much rather face Richardson early, and that late game we'll probably face him anyway. So I'd say Richardson, honestly, because Minshew, he's seen a lot in the NFL. Richardson ain't really seen as much as as Minshew has, and when we've got Vrabel fucking rotating to a different coverage every down, mind fucking Richardson, that's gonna be a problem. It's gonna slow him down, slow his feet down, and if he slows his feet down in the pocket, it's over with our pass rush. Because our pass rush is gonna be healthy this year. Knock on wood, but we got Landry coming back, Autry's ready to go, and Simmons, and then Weaver and whatever on the as the 4th D lineman. So I think our defense is gonna be nasty, to be honest.
I will say though, I am excited about Shane Steichen working with AR because that seems like a good fit.
That's what I'm worried about is the contingent from Philly that had worked with Hurts previously, working with Richardson. I'm worried about Richardson, honestly, as a Titans fan. I think he'll do well eventually. I'm not too worried this year, but you can't really say you're worried about any rookie quarterbacks this year the way the class was. I mean, Stroud is only going to be as good as his receiving core is, and he's got Tank Dell and Robert Woods. So I'm not really worried about him. But
no.
The only quarterback I'm worried about in the division is Trevor Lawrence, and then whatever quarterback we put out in the Titans. Those are the 2 quarterbacks I'm worried about.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
So yeah,
that's
man.
Fair.
What's your prediction for the Colts? What do you think y'all are gonna do this year?
I have no clue.
Are you hoping for wild card maybe?
God, no. I'd be happy with 7 wins.
I
really don't. Which that would put us in a bad position for drafting, but I'm not really expecting much.
That's the thing. For me, if I have a team that I know is not going to make the Super Bowl or playoffs, I'm not going to say I hope they lose, but it's really counterproductive in the grand scheme of things when you're in that middle ground of 8-8 or what's 8-9 now, and you're drafting in the middle to top half of the first round. You're sort of missing out on those elite talents, that's the sort of shitty part where you can get in a little graveyard of the NFL. That's where the Titans were for years.
Yeah, you guys definitely were just in that slot always seemed like. But
Jeff Fisher, God dang, he went 8-8 probably 10 years in a row.
yeah, good enough to keep his job, but
Yeah.
not exactly what y'all want.
Right.
But
Oh man.
yeah, I don't know. I think the AFC South is getting better. I think Houston will be better, and of course Jacksonville and Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
So I really don't expect much from the Colts this season. So we'll just see what happens with AR, and just see who takes the keys to the car.
At least y'all have reason to be excited, with Richardson and something to look forward to compared to having Ryan,
Yeah, it is.
So that's a good feeling to have. But this year for y'all was always going to be, just not a bogey year, but just a buffer year, for next year to be ready for next year. I don't know what y'all's cap situation looks like or y'all's core, but this is always going to be a rebuilding year.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So yeah, I'll still enjoy talking shit to the Colts and and beating the hell on y'all, which I think we'll do this year. Maybe, I don't know. You don't never know with us. We don't never know with y'all, but we always have close games. But yeah, man,
that's fun. But hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Bye.
All right. That's Rob, man, Colts fan, calling in about his views and opinions of Anthony Richardson and whether he'll be starting with Indianapolis. So me personally, I don't, like I said to him, he posed a good question about who would I rather face as a Titans fan between Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. And personally, I'd rather face Richardson. Yeah, he's a little more dynamic than Minshew, but he's green a little bit. He's not. Vrabel is going to, the way we disguise our coverages on the back end and disguise our blitzes, or if we blitz at all, being able to bring pressure with only rushing 4 and the coverage is being so disguised on the back end, that spells trouble for young quarterbacks. We, up until last year, I think we had a horrendous record against rookie quarterbacks, which I don't understand. But for a player like Richardson, who is green with the amount of games he's played in college at quarterback, and not having much experience in the NFL, that bodes well for the Titans, in my opinion. It really does. So I'd much rather face Richardson, especially early in Week 5. That should be a gimme game. Well, it ain't never a gimme game in the NFL, but that should be one that we go up there and beat the shit out of them and come back. To be honest, that late game in Week 13, Week 14, that could be a little more difficult. But I'm still not high enough on the Colts to say I predicted for them to, I predicted for them to get swept by us anyway. So Anthony Richardson don't really change none of that for me. Now, if he starts balling out in the beginning of the season, if he gets in there, then maybe. But I still see us sweeping the Colts. Chat, y'all let me know what y'all think the Titans will do against the Colts this year. Do you think we'll sweep, split? Y'all let us know in the comments on YouTube, Twitch. Make sure y'all subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Twitch, and follow all the socials at TFTV Sports, Instagram and Threads, TFTV.sports. All right. Let's get into some Nashville SC talk. Nashville SC talk. Game against Philadelphia Union. Couple of midweek game against Philadelphia Union, man. Nashville was unlucky. They were really unlucky not to finish their chances. They had 18 shots to Philadelphia's 9, 3 shots on target to Philadelphia's 5, with 58 possession of the ball. Nashville did. So, it's just really, really unlucky, and it just boils down to just not having that clinical striker up front. Burnberry missed a fucking sitter. It was terrible. Bunbury did, man. Irritates the fuck out of me. But the first penalty was, I think, McNaughton. So they get a cross in from the left half space. McNaughton's defending the far post. Guy jumps up. McNaughton almost kills him. Throws him into the post. Damn near hits the post, hits his head on the post. I saw the shit. I said, damn. Of course, it's a penalty. They convert. We're not lucky enough to have Matt Turner in between the sticks to save them penalties. But the second one, that was also, in my opinion, that was also a penalty, man. He just took him out after he delivered the cross. You can't do that, man. Especially with a shameless and horrific referee that we had that night that thought he could control the game and wanted to control the game, but had no control of the game. You know, he wanted to put his imprint on the game. And he did that with 2 penalties. So Nashville hit the post fucking five, 6 times maybe. It was tough. Mukhtar got a ball through the lines, turned, going down the right channel, chips it over the keeper, hits the center of the crosspost. It's just, man, it was tough. It's just one of those games where it just don't fall your way. And it sucks that we got Lovitz as a red card or left back, and then Shaq Moore, he got a red card, which is a soft red card to me. But both of them will be out for the game against Cincinnati on Saturday. So that's a huge, huge loss that we can't afford to have against a team like Cincinnati, who's been the best in the MLS so far. Tough. Tomorrow will be tough. On that red card with Shaq Moore, I thought the shit was soft, to be honest. I mean, you always have players running together, and yeah, they had a little extracurricular with the shoving afterwards, but that's not red card worthy. I've seen people get elbowed in the face intentionally, going up for headers and such, and that's not a red card, and that's way more mischievous and devious than what Shaq Moore and the run-in he had together with the Philadelphia player. I think that just goes to the terrible refereeing and the referee trying to put his stamp on the game when he just never had control at any point. Y'all let me know what y'all's predictions are for Nashville SC against FC Cincinnati coming up tomorrow on Saturday. It's going to be tough, man. I'm predicting I'd love to say a 1-1 draw. That's what I think I'm going to go with. I think we'll go up there. It'd be good to get a point against Cincinnati. So I predict a 1-1 draw between Nashville SC and FC Cincinnati tomorrow. So that'd be a good point gotten, to be honest, with the way Cincinnati are playing and where they're at in the standings. So you can't complain about a point, especially away from home. So on some brighter news for Nashville SC, according to Valer Shabila, apologies if I butchered your name, Nashville SC are pursuing Nottingham Forest striker Sam Surridge. 24-year-old Englishman scored once in his 20 Premier League season. I'm butchering this shit. Can't read. 20 Premier League appearances last year. He scored 9 in a championship the year before that with Nottingham Forest. Was integral to them getting promotion. In his career, he has 52 goals in 213 games, and he's a young player. 24 years old. He's exactly the frame that I spoke about before, and that's been echoed by a couple of TFTV members that have talked about what they look for in a Nashville SC striker, Austin in particular. But he's that big body striker that you can throw the ball up top to, and he'll bring it down and sort of lay it off to his teammates. I've seen clips of him there because Nottingham Forest, they played in the Premier League at least, and even in the championship, they played long a little bit. And they would play the ball long to him. He'd cushion the ball with either his thigh or his boot and was just able to lay it off. And that'll be great for the way Nashville play with the runners they have in Leal, Mukhtar, and Schaufelberg. It'd be perfect for him late in games. But he's 6'4" or 6'3", British, playing for Nottingham Forest from Slough, United Kingdom, and he's only 24 years old. So a young striker, and Nottingham Forest bought him for £2.5 million from, well, it says £2 million, 1.85 million euros, something like that, from Stoke City in January of 2022. So he hasn't really, beyond the season and the championship, he hasn't really performed for Nottingham Forest because they got promoted and then they sort of gutted their whole team and brought in a bunch of new talent for the Premier League season because you can't compete in the Premier League with championship talent. You know, that I think Cooper's our manager. He's just not good enough to do that. So Surridge was sort of taking a back seat this past year in the Premier League, but he hasn't really had the confidence and the consistent run minutes to perform on the platform that Nottingham Forest has given them. So for Nashville to buy him, I don't think they should pay any more if not a little bit more than what Nottingham Forest paid for him. You know, they only paid 1.85 million euros. So I think that's around 2.2 million. I wouldn't want Nashville to go over $4 million at the absolute most, but he should be able to get brought in for $2 to $3 million, in my opinion. If we get him for that price, that'll be excellent because he has a lot of sell-on value with him being young. So, you know, this might be a temporary move for him to come to MLS, bag a bunch of goals, and get a move elsewhere in Europe. And if that is, so be it. We'll a DP spot open. We'll get some good money for him. And, you know, we're not just pegged with having an older striker like Pookie with no resale value. So I'm really excited about the link. He was spotted in Nashville last month with the GM of Nashville SC. So that was at the Nashville, BNA at the Nashville airport. So the links are substantial. And with Nashville SC, the links normally don't come out until, they want it to come out. They keep a tight ship over there. So a quick breakdown on Sam Surridge. I keep wanting to call him Sturridge. If he performs like Daniel Sturridge, man, we'd be in business. We'd win everything. So first, I'll explain the XG and what XG is. It's a statistic that they use to evaluate teams and players with, you can sort of correlate it with how good of a finisher they are. So I'll read this very simply. XG, which is expected goals, is probability of a shot that results in a goal based on the characteristics of that shot and the events leading up to it. So it's out of 0 to 1, with 0 being a terrible chance and 1 being a guaranteed chance to finish. And I might be explaining this a little wrong, but the synopsis of it is you want a great finisher will perform at or above their XG. For example, Hani Mukhtar last season, MVP season, scored 23 goals on 19.43 XG. He outperformed his XG. So he was only expected to score 19 goals with the chances that fell to his feet. He scored 23 with those. So that would show, you can draw a correlation that Mukhtar, the data backs up that he's a very good finisher. And, the data backs it up. The eye test backs it up. Another example on the other end of the spectrum, Bunbury. We saw what the hell he did midweek. This season, 2 goals on 3.7, almost 4 XG. That's a poor finisher. He's 2 goals below. He's expected to score 4 goals. He only scored 2 goals out of those 4. So if you expound on that and make it to where it's close to Heine, out of 20, he would only score 10 goals. Out of the 20 goals he's expected, he would only score 10. I say all that for Surridge in 2021, 2022. That's the best sample size we have because he didn't play many minutes in the Premier League last year. So you can't really say that or, bring that into this equation. But year before last in the championship, he had 9 goals on 11.74 XG. So much better finisher than Bunbury. Not as good of a finisher as Mukhtar, but he's a decent finisher, a clinical finisher. And that is against championship competition. So they say it doesn't really take it into account, the competition. But if you're facing championship and Premier League goalkeepers versus coming over to face MLS goalkeepers, your XG should bounce up just a little bit, just off the level of competition alone. So if I were to prorate that out, I would say Surridge over here in Nashville in the MLS, he would probably perform at or around his XG, which would be excellent for Nashville. Company that with his big body frame, his aerial ability is not really the best, which is odd enough. He doesn't win aerial duels as much as he should. And I'm not sure if that's because the championship is a much rougher league and he was really young. So hopefully that would improve once he would get to Nashville. Excuse me. But his clinical finishing is going to be amazing for Nashville SC. So what else? With assists, he provided 3 assists in that year also in the championship for Nottingham Forest. 3 assists on 2.71 XA, which is the same as XG. It's just X assists. So he can create some chances for his teammates, which would be very good for Nashville also. Relieve some of that creative burden off of Mukhtar and Leao. And I just think he'd do extremely well if Nashville were able to pick him up. He would slot right into the side, and I think he'd be great. I think he would be excellent. Here's some other statistics for Surridge. So this is in the same season, that 2021-2022 championship season. For the percentile rank versus forwards, other forwards in that league, he ranked in the 97th percentile, which is extremely good, and non-penalty XG. So that's his XG not taking into account penalties. So mostly better than all of the forwards in that respect. 97th percentile in shots taken. So he takes the shots when he has the chances. He's not one to try and lay it off. He's a little bit selfish in that respect. That's something you'd want in a striker. His non-penalty XG plus his XAG is in the 96th percentile. So top of the league in that. And in his shot creating actions, he's in the 79th percentile. So he creates chances with his movement. Well, I would consider him more of a poacher that also is able to run the lines and run the channels a little bit. But he's able, in the clips that I've seen of him, he's able to make space for himself in the box, which is very, very important. If Nashville tries to go to a more possession-oriented system with the diamond and try and control games a little bit more, which they have been doing in the past few weeks, they just haven't been able to convert those chances. A striker like Surridge, who's a poacher in the box, that is able to create space for himself, be an aerial presence because he stands at 6'4", is very important in breaking down teams that'll be in their low block. You could cross the ball into him, which Nashville has a big tendency of doing, is flying down the flank, throwing crosses in. He has a soft enough touch from what I've seen to where he can interlink and combine with the other forwards, whether that's Mukhtar or Leal, combining with him in the interplay. And once again, he just creates space for himself, and he's clinical when he has that space and the ball falls to his feet. So, like I said, in the aerial duels, he's not the best aerially, which probably, in my opinion, might have more so to do with the championship. That's a really physical league. He's only in the 69th percentile in aerials, one nice. And he's good on corners. That'd be with the clearances. He's 87th percentile in clearances, so he would help us on corners defensively if we put him in the box to defend corners. And touches in the attacking penalty box, he's in the 94th percentile. So he's in the box, he's a presence in the box, and he likes to have the ball in the box. So I think he would do extremely well with Nashville SC. We should be able to get him in for around $2 million, $3 million, in my opinion. Any more than that would be a reach because, he hasn't really performed well beyond what he did that first season with Nottingham Forest in 2021-2022. So if we can buy him for what they bought him for, I think they will be happy with it. Y'all let me know in the comments, Nashville SC fans, are y'all excited about the potential signing of Sam Surridge? Where do y'all think he would end up with Nashville SC, whether starting or playing a bench role when he comes in? He'd definitely probably be starting, in my opinion, but y'all let me know. Y'all also let me know how well y'all think he'll do with Nashville SC. Goal tally and such with Mukhtar. Very, very important get if Nashville SC is able to get him. All right, moving on to the U.S. men's national team. Their loss to Panama in the Gold Cup semis on, I want to say Wednesday. Might have been Wednesday. Matt Miazga, what a fucking idiot. So I'll go right to him. Well, no, I'm not going to get into him yet. Or I'm going to save that for last. I'll explain what happened for those that weren't able to watch the game. So overall, the U.S. men's national team in this tournament just really, frankly, wasn't good enough with the players that they picked at their disposal. And I get it, the good players are going to want to be at preseason with their clubs, especially European clubs, and in the business end of the MLS. But, it still wasn't good enough. Jesus Ferreira, really bad miss in the 65th minute, gets a ball cut back to him. He's around the penalty spot. Fucking not blasted, but pulls it wide, left of the post. Should have been a goal. Redeemed himself later on with the excellent volley, put it into the right corner to tie the matchup. Excellent volley. But overall, the setup and the tactics really didn't fit him. He's a sort of smaller striker, diminutive. You can't really play long balls to him and expect him to, be able to cushion the ball down and come down or win aerial duels. That's not his game. He's sort of more interlinking player, keep the ball along the ground. That's the type of player he is, and they just didn't really cater to that. So I can't really give him too much stick. The miss that he had in the 60th minute, it was a terrible miss, but he made up for it later in the game. So can't really give him too much stick. He's got a lot of stick on Twitter, but I'm not here to do that for him, man. He did as best as he could, in my opinion, with the tactics around him. That's big for a striker. But, it ends up going to PKs. And I'll talk about Miazga. After Miazga hits his PK, he brings it level to, I think, 3-3 or something of that nature. He's walking back to the touchline, the halfway line, and the Panamanian player is walking down. The next penalty taker is walking down. Miazga gets in his face and starts yelling at him. Just completely classless. Just some of the worst. That's honestly some of the worst shit I've seen in a penalty shootout in my life. That's just some shit you don't do. You got to have some class in that respect. I understand fucking with the keeper and, talking shit to the keeper because that's a one-on-one battle. But this guy is coming up to take a PK. You just don't do that shit, man. You just don't do that. So, of course, the guy comes and the Panamanian player converts his penalty. And then the U.S. men's national team misses their penalty, either the next one or the very next one after that. Karma. That's karma. You just can't do certain things, Matt Miazga, and that's one of them. That's some really unsportsmanlike shit. And, you're not the best player in the team, or you're not even a starting center back for the U.S. So the gall to do that is just embarrassing. It embarrasses the U.S. men's national team. It's embarrassing to the fans of the team, especially when the shit don't come out the way you planned it to and Panama fucking wins on PKs. Just terrible. Terrible. So I ripped his ass on Twitter, and, what I seen on Twitter, everybody was sort of feeling the same way I was. That was just classless and karma, So that's what happens, man. You do dumb shit like that, and you find out. All right. So a little bit to go. We got let's talk about Pulisic. Talk about Christian Pulisic. He told the Italian reporters how to pronounce his name. Said he was a little closer to Croatia, so it shouldn't be hard to pronounce his name. Pulisic is his name. So the move to AC Milan was confirmed. He had his media done and all that, and I think he'll do really well there, to be honest. I've pondered on it a bit, and I think if they play him in the 10 position, and I've spoke on this in pods past, if they play him in the 10 position as they should, he's got the talent around him to be really good at AC Milan. He needs to get the minutes that he needs, and he needs to get the confidence back. And I think he could do that in Milan. They've got so much talent there, attacking talent. They've got Giroud there. They've got, Rafa Leao, one of the best wingers in the league. And I think he'll do really well if he gets the minute that he's deserved. And let's talk about where it went wrong with Chelsea. Chat, y'all let me know where y'all think it went wrong with Chelsea. He was supposed to be, Captain America, like they say, and they were pushing. He didn't like how Chelsea was pushing that script on him, honestly. I've got a quote here from The Athletic. But Pulisic's wariness of being presented as Captain America and natural reluctance to engage in media and marketing duties frustrated Chelsea officials during his time with the club. So, that sort of played a role. I'm sure that caused some friction with Chelsea. They buy him. They want him to be the face of their American marketing. He's supposed to be Captain America. He's one of the best players in the national team setup. That goes into the process of them buying him. That's something that they thought about when they bought him. That all goes in when you spend big money on a player. That goes into you thinking about the return you'll get for him, and his reluctance to do that probably really rubbed them the wrong way, management's perspective. Of course, they're under new management, and that has nothing to do with the layout and the tactics of how he was deployed at Chelsea, but it damn sure didn't help. The tactics-wise, when he was at Chelsea, that was abysmal. Chelsea haven't really attacked well as a squad, as a team since, probably 2 or 3 years ago, since they won the Champions League. you know? And he played well that year. But since then, he had been deployed as a wingback, just played out of position. And even when he was played in position off the left, it wasn't in consistent minutes. So he could never get consistent time as a player and really build that confidence. Goes back to what I said about Surridge. With attackers, if they don't have consistent minutes, it's hard for them to get into a rhythm and have that confidence that they exude on the field and to where they're able to score great goals and just have confidence with the ball at their feet. He was never able to really get that at Chelsea. And, that did a detriment to him and just consistent or was a part of why his form was so shaky throughout his tenure at Chelsea. Chat, let me know. Are y'all happy about the AC Milan move? Y'all let me know in the YouTube comments if y'all are watching this after. Are y'all happy with the AC Milan move? Do y'all think he'll be well at the 10 position? How many goals and assists do you think he could get in the calendar year with AC Milan or over the course of the season? Chat saying, look how many attacking players go there and don't do well. At some point, is it the player or the club? Of course, it's the player or the club at Chelsea. The club, it's, the rotating door management style that they have at Chelsea. They had, I think, Pulisic had, how many managers did he have at Chelsea? He had Lampard, Tuchel, Lampard again, Potter, and I think that's it. He might have, I wonder if he had Sarri, if he was there when Sarri was there. I'm not sure. But that's 4 different stints of managers in your tenure, and he was only there for 4 years, give or take, or 3 years, or I think 4 years. So the tactics are not consistent. The players cannot consistently be in the same spaces like a Pep Guardiola team or Arteta team, where players are in the same spaces consistently throughout a game and are able to problem solve when they're facing a low block and such of what works. They're constantly playing different positions, constantly being moved around, and the tactics they don't stay the same. Always changing. That's a big reason why Graham Potter was gone. He always changes tactics. So when you're an attacker and your tactics are always changing, it's really hard to get in a rhythm. Company that with not playing consistent minutes, every time you come in, it's 2 weeks from 2 weeks apart, and you're playing a completely different system. How the hell can you get in a rhythm? That's not Pulisic's fault. It's impossible to get into a rhythm at that point. So I blame Chelsea, man. It's not the players, because all the players that have been at Chelsea have not performed as an attacker. They just spent 100 million euros on a striker in Lukaku who performed well in Serie A the year before and the year after he was at Chelsea. But when he's at Chelsea, it's abysmal. Any striker that's been there has been abysmal, not good. Even Broja, and he was really good at Southampton. So, I blame Chelsea, man. I think Pulisic should do really well in AC Milan if he gets the minutes that he deserves and plays consistently at the 10. So y'all let me know. We'll take callers. I still got that up. Take callers at 931-603-1476. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Pulisic going to AC Milan. Also, what y'all think about Nashville SC and Surridge. The potential move for a striker in Surridge. Be a good pickup for Nashville. In 1 second. But on the Chelsea front, with them wanting a Captain America, I've got a person in mind. I would like it, and I said this last week. I don't want him going there, but Chelsea want a Captain America. They need to go to the Captain America and Florian Balogun. Saw how good he looked against Nuremberg yesterday with Arsenal. He's on the market. I think Chelsea can get him for about 60 million, 70 million maybe. But yeah, we'll see about Balogun. I don't know where he'll go. AC Milan has a lot of interest in him. Inter Milan has a lot of interest in him. But it remains to be seen. Got a caller here. Give me 1 second. We'll get this caller in here. All right, Austin, man. We got my man Austin in here. What's going on?
Hey, man. A little bit on the Pulisic situation. I think people got to realize too, Italian clubs don't really spend big money on role players, bench players.
Right.
So they went out and dropped some serious money on them. So
that's a good point.
I think he's going to start at the 10 or as a right wing. I'd rather him play the 10.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll allow him to free flow within the middle of the field, kind of work your angle. You know what I'm saying? Make his runs left or right.
Interchange
I feel
with
like he'll have that freedom.
Yeah, he'd be able to interchange with Leao out on the left.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be really perfect too, because then you have a threat of Leao coming even more centrally. Whereas predominantly on the left. I mean, I feel like the 10 is the best position for him. I think he'll thrive and excel in it, and I'm hoping that's what they deploy him as.
Yeah, I think that's what according to all reports, that's what they've reported, that he would be at the 10 with them. I think it'd be really good, especially with Pulisic and Leao combining with Giroud up front, man. That's gonna be pretty good combination there.
Yeah, Milan's gonna be. Yeah, they got a pretty good attacking solid. I see. Hey, you seen his jersey number?
Yeah, he got number 11. What number did he get? Number 11,
like me,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wore number 11. He said he want to be like me. He want to be like his big brother.
So yeah,
I see.
You made a really good point about Italian clubs, how stingy they are and cheap. There's some cheap bastards down there. The whole league.
Oh man, dude, they hold on to that mafia money, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And then ask for King's ransom. Didn't ask for King's ransom if they sell a player like Osman. They said he's worth 220. I said, what the 220?
They calling up the Don. They calling up the Godfather. They say, hey, is it okay if we spend this bread?
Right.
Well, okay.
But you're right though. Yeah. They spent quite a bit on him, and they don't spend that much money normally. So if they spend that much on a player, he's not coming in to sit the bench. He's not.
Oh no. Once I seen the price tag, I was like, oh yeah, they trying to get him up in there to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if it would have been, what I'm saying, like a third or even half of that, I'd have been like, okay, he might come in for little cameos and stuff like that. But
right.
I feel like though this is his last chance at a big club though. I do feel that.
Yeah,
I do think this is his last chance to really kind of like make an impression. Like, is he really built for this stage, or you know what I'm saying? But
because he's what? He's 24, isn't he?
Yeah. 23, 24.
24. So he signed I'm not sure if he signed a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal. That'll put him at 24 or 26, 27 when he gets done with that deal, or he's up for another transfer. So you're right, man. After that, I mean, it's not looking good for him, because he's had a lot of minutes throughout his career. Early in his career, he's played quite a bit. It was a 4-year deal?
Yeah, it was a 4-year deal, which I like. It works out for him because you alluded to it, and I think the last show or 2 shows ago, where you said that if things aren't working out, I mean, a year before the World Cup, you kind of in the 3rd year of the contract, a club is looking to sell you. So, you know what I'm saying? Go and find anybody that he can go to get some consistent minutes for the World Cup.
Right.
So it works out for him, but I think he's going to do well there.
No, I think he'll do well too. What do you think about the Nashville SC game against Philadelphia Union, man? Were you able to go to that game?
No, I didn't go to the game. You know what I'm saying? I was in there, grinding, working, been a hardworking man, but I did get a chance to watch the replay of it. Awful, horrendous.
I don't think they played terribly, but it's just a matter of them not finishing their chances, man. I feel like they were more unlucky than anything.
Yes. Yeah. Well, exactly. That's more of my point. Like, I could count 2, maybe 3 goals in the first half alone. That those are, you have to cash those in. You have the
fucking Bunbury.
Bunsbury. Yeah. Just
Buns.
I mean, just not even put it on frame.
Yeah.
Put it on frame. If it gets saved, if it gets blocked, deflected, something like that, okay, I can live with it. You know what I'm saying? I still think you got to score.
Right.
I can live with it. Man, you damn near took my satellite out.
Man.
Hitting that thing over the crossbar. Oh, my God.
He's Buns.
And, he's living up to his name for sure. And then you got I mean, I can't really expect too much of a center back, but he tried to scissor kick that thing in. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the effort, man, but.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy chance, but damn, I mean, I like to see it on target. I get he's a center back, but it's not like it was from 15, 20 yards out. It was damn near point blank.
Right, and he didn't have to scissor kick it either. It was going to fall to his feet anyway. Nobody was within 3, 4, 5 yards from him, so it was a tap in.
Yeah.
But
and then the chance with Mukhtar too. He was going down the right channel in the second half, and dinked it over the keeper and hit the fucking crossbar center.
Yeah. It's just insane. Yeah, we need help big time. And then we got the red card. I don't make too much of it. Like the officiating was horrible.
Yeah.
But I hate using that as excuse of why we lost, because that's not why we lost. But I mean,
No.
we just didn't convert on our chances.
Because they both were
but
penalties. The penalties weren't wrong.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Anybody that I seen a bunch of NFC fans complaining on Twitter how they weren't penalties. I'm like, those are both clear fouls.
Yeah.
Like,
McNaughton almost killed the guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I get we fans at the end of the day, but like, dog, that's a foul.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
What do you think about the links to the striker from Nottingham Forest, Sam Surridge? Saw a picture with him at the airport from BNA. I think you sent it to me.
Yeah.
At BNA with the Nashville SCGM.
Yeah, I think we flew him in on Southwest.
If they did internationals, we would.
They flew him on Southwest first class, man. They say, here's your ticket. Come on, man. But apparently, it was a month ago. You know what I'm saying? I think if that's from a month ago, and there's reports out now, they're kind of still, that's who their target is.
Yeah.
Then I think where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
So I think that's who they might be looking at. I went back and looked at some of his tape. He's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a long-term solution, even though he is young. He's 24.
Right.
Because a Premier League player. I mean, he played at Nottingham Forest.
Right.
You have a team like that or a player like that playing at a club like that, and they come over here, and put up double-digit goals. Man, he's going right back over there.
Exactly.
So. You might get, if he does come over here and he performs well and does exactly what we need him to do, then I can see maybe a season, maybe two at most.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's not the end of the world.
That, though, you said what?
I said that's not the end of the world. I mean, Nottingham Forest only bought him for $2 million. So and he hasn't really performed that well, barring that 1 year in the championship with them in his first year. But
yeah.
If we buy him for what they bought him for at $2 million, and he does really well, we could sell him off for maybe $8 million. That's a good lick there.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got to come up off the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Long-term investment. Hey, you seen Saudi Arabia League or team over there trying to do the same thing with Hanny?
Oh, really?
They're trying to pick him up off our hand. They apparently, sources have confirmed, they have put in a lucrative offer. Now, I don't think he's leaving, just for the simple fact that he's a little bit up there in age. He's kind of established his roots, his grounds here in Nashville.
Yeah.
I think I hate saying this phrase, but I mean, I think he is a MLS lifer. Like, I think he's gonna be here for the long haul. So
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. No.
I mean, I think it more has to do with his work in the community.
Right.
He's got the Mukhtar Academy.
Yep.
He had it. A lot of people don't know this, but he had his wedding at Geoda's Park.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, hey, I don't blame him, man. You know what I'm saying?
It's new. It's all right. And he probably got a discount on renting it out.
Not even a discount. He might have got a thing for free. He's the best player. Hey, he said, "Hey, you don't let me rent this out, I'm leaving."
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey.
I don't know, man.
The same thing.
That money has turned heads in Saudi Arabia League, so it's something to be worried about for sure. But
if they came here and offered like 20-30 mil, obviously, like you know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah,
buddy. Hey, we're gonna have to get you up out of here, and you can spend that 20 and 30 mil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Build a world class MLS team with that type of bag.
You really could. This is. I mean, I would hate to see him go, but of course, if a move or an offer like that comes in, I mean, you just can't turn that down. You could really set up the club for the future. It would almost be like what happened with Arsenal in the 90s when they sold Anelka to Real Madrid, I think.
Uh-huh.
They were able to build a whole youth facility off that, a whole training facility off that. It could be something really similar.
Yeah, that's the hope if they did put an offer bid that high,
Right.
which would be pretty steep. Because I haven't looked at his market value on transfer market, but it has to be somewhere between
At
I'd
least
say
15, 20.
8. You think it's up there?
Man,
I think somewhere close to like 12, 13.
that's the
I
value
don't
according
know.
to them. That's not the value according to Nashville SC. Nashville SC
Yeah,
determines
well,
what the price is. You know, I know
right.
that's what transfer market says, and that's his value on the market. And they've got him at 12 million.
They got him at 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's way more valuable than 12 million euros
Oh,
or
100%.
dollars to
Yeah.
Nashville SC. So they wouldn't sell him for that.
Right. No, yeah, the price would definitely go up because I mean, I ain't gonna lie, if they get rid of him, man.
The price of the brick got to go
until
up.
they start rebuilding. Yeah, until the rebuild starts, I ain't gonna lie, we're gonna be.
It's gonna be tough to watch.
Yeah,
it'd be
we
tough to
are
watch.
the older team too.
Yeah. So I mean,
so that
it wouldn't be. I mean, it sort of would be the end of the world. But if it were to happen, it would be great if they spent the money and really beefed up the youth system and like was able to start up a really steady stream of getting good youth talent in, you know. That would be ideal.
Right.
And buy a good DP player or two to keep us afloat in that meantime. Buy up some really good young talents. And I mean, I think it'd be fine. It'd be shitty in the short term, but I think it'd be great for the club in the long term.
Oh, absolutely. Let's set up the club for future. Did you watch the US game as well?
I watched the replay of it, man. It was it was tough. They man, what did you think about Miazga and the PK when he made the PK and come back and yelled at the Panama play? I thought that was some fucked up shit, man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
You liked it.
I like it.
Yep.
Yeah. Like just as a former player, man. Like, you know, I think the biggest misconception that people get from soccer is like, oh, it's a soft sport. It's
for sure.
this and that. Like, bro, like I don't think people realize, man. Like, folks is getting killed overseas over this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
This shit's serious.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
And I like the fire competitiveness stuff like that. I think it's a little bit overboard. Yeah, probably, but no, I think though if you gotta talk, man, you gotta wait till a little bit at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, your boy Matt Turner. Hey,
he's a monster.
He had
man.
one of them where he had one of them though. He probably should have got. But let it slide.
That's a PK though, man. That's penalty kicks are iffy, man. He saved plenty to give him to where he can get some slack on one. You know.
Yeah, his career like 40-something%,
right?
Which is insane.
And he made a really good save on one of the chances the Panama players had in the box. I think they headed it down and it bounced up, and it's a really tough save for a keeper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And knocked it back over the crossbar.
Yeah. That's tough.
No, I think the performance though by the team itself, you really, I mean, I expected them to get to the final.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that didn't. Even Vegas didn't have us getting to the final. Honestly, they have Mexico. I think Mexico was like minus 300 to win the tournament, which they probably will.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should. But we're also deploying our like Z team out there.
It was terrible.
I feel like though that what they should have done because we got the Olympics coming up.
Yeah.
The U23 Olympics. I think what they should have done was whatever roster that they were going to put out there for the Olympics, and possibles, put them out there on that Gold Cup roster, get them some valuable experience against, probably not the best, the most skilled countries in the world, but get them some international experience. So when they're ready for the Olympics, I think that's what they should have done. They should have made it.
That is a good idea.
Instead of just throwing me and you out there and say, hey, go win the Gold Cup.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Looking back at it, they probably should have done that, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, Japan did that a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They sent out for like a little. They got invited to Copa America.
Yeah.
And so they sent out what they were going to send out for the U23 squad.
Right.
They didn't make it out the group stage, but they got 3 valuable game time experiences against 3 really quality nations, and they ended up making it to the Olympic semifinal
right
later on. You know what I mean? So that experience kind of adds up.
Yeah, it ain't like it's a waste, you know.
Right, exactly.
What do you think about the odds for DeAndre Hopkins coming to the Titans?
Hey, in your words, I put a little thou wow on it. Put a little thou wow on it. I think it's a pretty good indication. I've always felt like he was coming here. I mean, because it increased when the Patriots signed Devontae Parker. When they signed him for that 3-year contract, I was like, yeah, I think we're going to sign him.
Right.
Because I think we have the ability to go find money where we want it.
Right.
And we also have the biggest need of all the teams. Like people have been throwing out, oh, he's just waiting on Kansas City. But Kansas City doesn't have the money right now that we do.
No.
So they may want them, and they may offer like a 3, but all they can offer is like $3-4 million. You know what I'm saying?
If they don't extend Chris Jones, you know, if they're able to extend him, then that's trouble, boy.
But I think we put in a high offer that made other teams be like, hey, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
And I feel like even if a team counter offers and they go higher, I think we go higher again because knowing that we need it. Like they said that even though, you know, when we didn't draft a receiver in the first couple rounds of the draft, that they were going to fix the wide receiver room.
Yeah, they did say that. They were confident about that.
Yeah, they promised that they were going to fix the receiver room. So this is you know what I'm saying, they can't let him go.
Right.
So I think he's it's just all formality at this point. I feel like within the next week or so, because training camp is in 11 days.
Yeah.
I think they sign him right before training camp, get him in here, get him acclimated, and things of that nature. So I think D-Hop is on the way, and
I'm hoping. I think this is my personal opinion. I think he has a soft date in mind with training camp of when he wants to be in. If we don't get him by that soft date, I think he's good as gone, to be honest. Unless the Chiefs just aren't able to free up any money. You know what I mean? But I hope Carthen and Vrabel were able to tell him on his visit that, hey, we're going to offer. Hopefully they told him that they will match the highest offer from any bidder. You know, I'd imagine that's what they did. As desperate as we are, surely that's something in the back of his head that he's just waiting on a team to come in to try and see if he can improve on that money. If he can't improve on the money by training camp, then he ends up with us. Hopefully that's the thinking that he had. That's what my opinion of it is. Do you think that's something that he would be thinking in that aspect?
Oh, for sure. You always got to, use leverage in the situation.
Right.
Because really, there's no incentive for him to sign right now.
No. Zero.
So I think he is going to try to wait it out until training. I do think that he's going to sign before training camp only because I feel like he's one of those players, like, he's going to get his days off. He's not going to be out there crying and like a dude that's trying to make the roster is, or he's out there every day practicing, grinding. He's going to have his days off. Vets have their days off, stuff like that.
Right.
But I do agree that he is trying to drive the price up, and
as he should.
I don't blame him. Go get the bag. But even if the Chiefs, like you said, even if the Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones and they free up some money to sign him, I still think we can offer more money now. If the Chiefs offer what we offer now, I ain't gonna lie, it might be a little bit of trouble because not only do you get the money that you want, you also, are competing on a better team. Like,
exactly.
Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna send him the private plane this time.
Surely they would.
Southwest.
Surely he don't fly Southwest the next time he comes in.
Yeah, no, they got to send him the charter flight. It's Amy's personal plane.
Yeah,
better be picking him up. I better, what I'm saying. When the pictures come out on Twitter where they hop off the plane, the videos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I see him, somebody from the Titans facility hold up a D-Hop sign in the little waiting area at the airport.
at BNA.
I'm gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be a serious organization. Yeah, we can't be doing that now.
I know. Well, yeah, man. I'll let you go. Looks like looks like we're on the forefront of getting them, according to reports of sportsbook. So, man, let's pray, I guess.
Yes, sir. Oh, absolutely.
We can use them.
All right, man.
Appreciate you calling in, Austin.
All right, bye.
All right, buddy. All right, that's my man Austin calling in. Gonna wrap this thing up, man. It's been a great show. Touched on quite a bit. Make sure y'all subscribe to YouTube, TFTV Sports. Subscribe on Twitch, TFTV Sports. Follow on all the socials at TFTV Sports and on Threads and Instagram at TFTV.sports, man. We're gonna be back on Monday. We'll be back on Monday at 7 o'clock, bright and early for the Sports Section Morning Show. Of course, this is episode 8. We appreciate everybody joining. We'll be taking call-in guests, of course, on Monday also. So make sure y'all join, call in live if you're able to, or make sure you listen on all the streaming platforms whenever it gets released. This will be out today. So once again, appreciate y'all joining, man. Y'all have a good one. Have a safe weekend, and see y'all on Monday.